Hello again, everybody. My name is Mike. I'm a chaplain with Trinity of Christ Ministries. And today I would like to talk about some actual cheating stories that we have heard. Uh, of course, we won't be mentioning any names, and we've asked for permission to use these stories. The reason we want to use these is because it's very likely it will relate to someone who watches this video at some point in time. Hopefully it'll help them get a grip on what's really happening to them. Um, we often overlook just how devastating an affair is to the person who was betrayed because we have over the years kind of come desensitized to how devastating this can be for a person. Uh, Many psychiatrists will chalk it up to about the same experience as losing a loved one, because in reality, you have lost a loved one. This person who was probably your best friend, as well as your husband or your wife, has, committed the ultimate betrayal. Your life is completely torn apart. You don't know what to do, where to start. Your nervous system is in full blown, you know, uh, devastation, overreacting to every little thing because of this hypersensitive nervous system. And this is the problem that a lot of people face and often feel like they have nobody to talk to, nowhere to turn, especially men, because we're taught to hide our feelings more than women are. Um, and men have a much harder time recovering from an affair than a woman does. And this is because men are, more physical creatures and women are much more emotional creatures. Uh, Usually, in our experience, the person who is cheated on, if it's a man, he's worried about if there was any sexual contact. That's usually the primary concern for the man. For the woman, it's uh, did you love her? Did you have feelings for her? That tends to be more important for a woman. She's not so much worried about the intimacy as she is the emotional connection. Men are complete opposite. They're much more worried about the intimate connection than the emotional connection. Um, they can both be devastating, whether you're a man or a woman, but tends to be the trend. So let's get started with a story, and I'll give some comments along the way, and you guys can comment your thoughts down in the comments if you'd like. Um, so this person says, I recently discovered my wife was having an affair. We have been married for 7 years and have always had a pretty good marriage. About 5 months ago, I started to notice small changes in our relationship. Yeah. We have always had what I considered a good sex life. At first, I noticed during intimacy she was distant, just kind of going through the motions, but not really there. After about a month, our sex life fell off a cliff and stopped completely. Our conversations became very short. Um, this is typical. It's typical affair, uh, especially if it's physical. Uh, you know, Women have a very hard time dividing their emotions between two people, two men. So one person is going to suffer. And it's almost always the husband, of course, because, the other guy's the fantasy, the husband's the reality. You've heard me say this before. And so this is where she's disconnecting from the husband. Her her emotions are getting rewired to give her attention and intimacy to this other person. So it's very common. When I brought up wanting to be intimate, I got the usual responses. She said she was tired or wasn't in the mood. I also noticed after a few weeks she had bought sexy lingerie, which I thought was kind of strange because she had never really worn that sort of thing before. I started to think maybe she was cheating on me, but I really couldn't figure out when she had time. As I worked first shift and she worked third shift. After about 3 months, it became crystal clear that something was going on. See this all the time. Very typical. Ask yourself this: if somebody's buying sexy lingerie and they're not wanting to be intimate with you, then who's the lingerie for? It's not for you, obviously. So if they're buying sexy lingerie, then they're, yeah, very good sign that their intimacy is being given to someone else. As far as she didn't have time, trust me, she'll find time. Believe me, she'll find time. They always do. As I said before, conversations between us became virtually non-existent. She also became grouchy whenever I would ask a simple question. This was totally out of the ordinary because my wife had always had a great personality and we always communicated well. One morning, as I was leaving for work, she was taking a shower and her friend from work called. She asked me to tell her she would call her back when she gets out of the shower. For some reason, I got the idea that I really should hear this conversation with her friend. So I got in my truck and pretended to leave. I parked down the street and circled back to the house and came in through the back door so I could hear my wife carrying on a conversation with her work friend. Pretty sneaky. This is when I heard her say his name and that they would be at her friend's house in about an hour. I didn't bother to confront her at the time because she would simply lie. Very good idea. Very good idea. It's hard to do, especially when these emotions are cranked up to full speed because of what you've just discovered. But he made a good choice not to confront her yet. I did, however, confront her that night, and she openly admitted to having an affair with a coworker for the last 4 months. You can see this coming like a train in a tunnel. She says she didn't intend for it to happen, but was confused and didn't know what to do. Apparently, her affair partner was also married, but had recently left his wife and moved in with his mom. When I asked if she loved him, she said she didn't really know. She says she needed some time to figure out and what she actually wanted. I don't think I would have given her time to figure out much, but that's just me. So he was seeing my wife and another lady at the same time. Okay. This lasted about a week with her being indecisive about what she wanted to do. One evening, she took a shower, did her makeup, and said she was meeting one of her girlfriends and they were going out to eat. Yeah, right. I didn't believe this for a second as I knew exactly where she was going, obviously. After about 2 hours, she came back home extremely upset and was crying, but I could tell and I could tell she was really mad. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't figure that there was any point. After about an hour, she walked into the living room and sat beside me on the couch and said she wanted to work things out between us. I bet she does. She said she had realized that she was still desperately in love with me and did not want to throw away 7 good years. I haven't read the rest of this. I'm reading this for the first time, same as everybody else. But all of a sudden, she wants to. She comes home mad, crying mad. Now she wants to work everything out with you. Sounds to me like she got dumped. That's what I'm guessing happened. Uh, this went on. What do you say? 4 months. So uh, the other partner, new car smell probably wore off. He was seeing another woman besides her, and she's burning her marriage completely to the ground and destroying everything for a man who's also seeing someone else. Now all of a sudden, after going and meeting this guy, because she did, now she wants to work everything out. She got dumped. This is exactly why she's saying, "Uh-oh, I time to go into damage control." Right? Um, since that time, she really doesn't want to talk about the affair at all. I'll bet not. When I asked her why she had the affair, she said because I didn't pay enough attention to her. Here comes the gaslighting. Here comes the, it's not my fault. If you'd have been this, if you'd have done that. Of course, this is the mentality of a cheater. Um, I'm not playing dumb here, but I genuinely don't know what she's talking about, as we have always had date nights and did things together. We often sit on the couch and hold hands and watch movies together, among many other intimate times. Most of the time, she tells me I'm overreacting and acts like her cheating wasn't that big of a deal. So, of course, she does. This is the minimizing. Uh, it's uncomfortable. She's guilty. She knows what she did. Now, since it's over, because she probably got dumped, now she wants to reconcile and just forget all of it and it all go back to the way it used to be. Because forget that I completely destroyed the foundation of our marriage. Let's just forget all that and go back to the way everything was. This is literally the mindset of cheaters of what they expect the partner to do. She says she never meant for it to happen, but it was just one of those things, and we need to move past it. I am at a loss of what to do here. I'm not sure what my next steps should be. It's now been 2 months since the affair ended, but it's almost impossible for me to pretend it never happened. You shouldn't pretend it never happened. It absolutely did happen, and it's absolutely her fault. Uh, My wife is the love of my life. I have never imagined my life without her, but I'm so full of doubt and anxiety. When I look into the future, I don't know if she's standing beside me. I don't think she realizes the damage that she has done to our relationship. Um, Perfectly natural. I wouldn't see her standing beside me either, because she's burnt the marriage to the ground. Uh, and it sounds like she's not taking responsibility for what she did. This is kind of like an entitlement cheater. I deserve to be happy, you know, no matter who gets hurt. I deserve to be happy. I am currently in therapy, but she refuses to go. She said she said that these things happen and we should just move past it. But honestly, I don't know if I want to move past it. Although I still love her, sometimes when I look at her, I'm disgusted. Yes, called the ick factor. Very normal. Also, your brain looks at this person and sees betrayal. Your safety switch has been flipped off. You don't see this person as safe and trustworthy anymore. Perfectly human response. Um, Touching her, uh, I look at her and am disgusted. When she tries to initiate intimacy, I find excuses to avoid it. Touching her feels completely different now that I know she has been with another man. Sometimes it literally makes me want to vomit. She actually never really apologized for the affair. She just sort of blows it off like she forgot to check the mail instead of sleeping with another man. Uh, as as a counselor and as a coach, as a chaplain, I'm going to just be brutally honest with this person, this man. Uh, if he chooses to reconcile with this woman, it's going to happen again. Almost guarantee, because she is refusing to take responsibility for her actions. She met some guy at work. She took it upon herself to have an affair. He was married also. So now you have two cheaters together. Yeah, chances of that working, I'm sure, are fantastic, right? Now she doesn't want to talk about the affair and blames her husband, says, well, you didn't pay enough attention to me or something like that. So instead of going to the husband with a problem, or maybe going to a counselor or coach with their problem, the solution was to cheat, to have an affair with a coworker. Um, I'm disgusted when she tries to initiate intimacy and literally makes me want to vomit. Perfectly natural. That's again called the ick factor. Uh, this person feels tainted when you touch them. It doesn't feel natural because you know there's another person been there. So it's very off-putting. This, see, this is common. Sometimes this lasts just a few weeks. Sometimes it even lasts a few years. Uh, but this guy, in my opinion, as a counselor or coach, if he was asking for my opinion, now would I help him try to reconcile? Absolutely. That's his decision to make. It's not my decision. If he wanted my honest advice, should he reconcile with her? No. Nope. I would end this marriage because she is not showing remorse for this. She's refusing to go to counseling. She's blaming him for what she did. You can't reconcile this marriage. It takes two people to make a marriage work. You cannot reconcile with someone who blames you. That is a recipe for disaster. We see it all the time. And lots of people, because of love, will, want to reconcile regardless, even though this other person is refusing to take responsibility. This is something that is an individual choice, but I can tell you as a coach, it's not good. This person, this wife, will eventually cheat again. It's just a matter of time. It's almost guaranteed. And I feel very bad for this husband. I hate that he's going through it, but he definitely needs to consider ending this marriage and you know just moving on, because it's not going to end well. she's going to cheat again. It's a matter of time. It may be 5 years, but it's going to happen again because she's unapologetic. She really doesn't think she did anything wrong. So, how can someone be sorry for something when they don't even think they did anything wrong? Can you imagine praying to God and asking for forgiveness from God for something you don't even believe you're guilty of? You really think that God's going to forgive you for that? If you don't even believe it was a sin, you don't even believe you did anything wrong. I go and cheat on my wife, and I say, "Yeah, Lord, please forgive me," because it's superficial. I don't even believe I did anything wrong. I believe I had a right to cheat. Uh, yeah, it's not going to work. So this lady refuses to take responsibility for what she did, and that's, you know, sad. It is sad that she's refusing to take responsibility. But I don't know this person, but I wish him good luck in whatever he chooses to do. But he definitely has some work to do with if he wants to, try to save this marriage. She has to get on board and admit what she did and take responsibility for it. But anyway, that's our story for today. I just wanted to share that with people. Maybe you're going through something similar, so never feel like you're the only one or you're going through it alone, because you're not. But I appreciate you watching. This is part of our ongoing intimacy and infidelity series here at Trinity of Christ Ministries. You find us on Facebook, YouTube, or trinityofchrist.org if you would like more information. Uh, Thank you for watching. God bless you. I'll see you next time.